I'm here in Chicago where behind me is Soldier Field, where for decades this was the home for the Chicago Bears. But soon, that just might change. The Bears have confirmed that they would be moving forward with plans to build a new stadium in Hammond, Indiana. This would be the biggest step forward towards leaving Illinois for the first time in their over 100-year history. According to the Chicago Bears chairman, George H. McCaskey, and president and CEO Kevin Warren, this stadium development project would create a world-class stadium while connecting Northwest Indiana with the greater Chicagoland area and deliver new opportunities to its residents and businesses. The exact location of this future stadium has not yet been determined. The Bears have already secured tax certainty to build a stadium on a 340-acre site in Hammond, Indiana, in contrast to what they have in Illinois after the state of Indiana passed legislation in February. The Bears chairman and president and CEO go on to say that in Illinois, for us to even consider an opportunity, we have to have tax certainty and infrastructure. Without that, we cannot proceed forward. We asked some Bears and football fans on their thoughts.
In regards to the Bears relocating to Indiana, it's honestly mind-boggling. For 100 years, this stadium has remained in Chicago, Illinois, and it's only recently where the owners and the CEO decided they want to relocate to a south suburb that's not even considered south suburbs, and then decide to relocate to Indiana. For me, as a Bears fan, it hits different considering that we grew up seeing this stadium in Chicago for all of our lives for 100 plus years. I find that more so a stab in the back for all the fans and supporters of this team. We went through ups and downs with this team, and with the moment we finally get something good in our lives once again, now you guys saying, hey, y'all going to have to go to Indiana.
The Bears moving to Indiana, I think it's really freaking funny. But in the end, like a third of NFL teams aren't even a part of the same city that they're in. And then there's even the New England Patriots. They're not even a city. It's a region. It doesn't matter. Football is football.
Although this plan is moving forward, it is not yet finalized. For now, the Bears currently remain at Soldier Field, where their lease would last until 2033. For Jaguar News, I'm Jalen Pia.
Illinois has announced a temporary pause on new tax incentive agreements for data center developments across the state. Governor J.B. Pritzker's administration says the move is designed to give officials time to reassess the rapidly growing data center industry and develop a more comprehensive strategy for future projects. State leaders are examining several important factors, including the significant amount of electricity required to power large data centers, their overall economic impact on local communities, and how continued expansion fits into Illinois' long-term infrastructure and sustainability goals. As more companies invest in AI, cloud computing, and digital services, the demand for data centers has increased dramatically, creating new challenges for states trying to balance economic growth with energy responsibility. The pause does not affect existing data centers or previously approved tax incentive agreements. Companies that have already secured agreements can continue with their plans. However, new projects seeking state tax benefits will need to wait until Illinois establishes updated guidelines for evaluating and supporting future developments. The decision reflects a broader conversation happening nationwide about how governments should regulate and support the expanding digital infrastructure industry. This has been Noah Norris for Jaguar News.
After 115 days, on Tuesday, June 9th, the House passed the ICE bill that provides the Department of Homeland Security with $70 billion that will fund immigration enforcement and border patrol until the end of President Trump's term. The measure passed 214 to 212 and was signed by Trump the next day. This funding comes without any of the changes that the Democrats demanded that led to the long fight about the funding for the department. The amount of money can limit Congress's ability to oversee how the funds are spent and how the agencies operate. Immigration advocates are worried that this funding process has excluded provisions and guardrails for spending that includes requirements for reporting data on detainees and treatment of pregnant women in custody. New DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin has rolled back aggressive enforcement operations that resulted in the deaths in Minnesota, which caused lawmakers to fight back against the funding in the first place. But now, with full funding and fewer accountability measures, ICE has more power and less constraint. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News. On Friday, May 29th, former Attorney General Pam Bondi was questioned in a closed-door interview in front of House lawmakers. Bondi defended the way she handled the Epstein files. House Democrats stated that Bondi deferred to Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and claimed she didn't know anything when questioned about the files. Critics claimed that Bondi did not deliver on the promise President Trump made of releasing significant information on Epstein. The interview was held behind closed doors and transcribed as opposed to being videotaped under oath like the deposition of Bill and Hillary Clinton that was released to the public. Bondi's interview will be released as a transcript, according to the committee. Survivors who stood outside of the meeting asked for transparency and were holding documents. They have identified documents that they claim could be leads for the Department of Justice. They also wore butterfly pins for fellow survivor Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide in 2025. The Epstein survivors and the public are hoping for answers and more insight into the way the files were handled and can only wait for the findings of the committee to see if they will receive the answers they call for. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News. In one of the deadliest U.S. workplace accidents in recent decades, the explosion at a Longview, Washington paper mill resulted in 11 deaths. The explosion took place on May 26 at the Nippon Dynawave Packaging Company, when a tank at the mill ruptured and spilled more than 500,000 gallons of a highly destructive chemical called white liquor. Authorities say the spill has not contaminated the air and drinking water in the city, and crews are working to flush water from a nearby drainage ditch. Some contamination has reached the nearby Columbia River, but the EPA says that it has not had a noticeable effect. The cause of the disaster is still under investigation. This is the second issue with the chemical on this side of the country, with an evacuation order in Southern California caused by an overheated tank in an aerospace plant preceding this. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News.
Police in Toledo, Ohio are investigating a mass shooting that took place during the Old West End Festival, leaving at least 12 people injured. The incident disrupted the annual community event and prompted a large emergency response as officer and medical personnel arrived at the scene to assist victims. Law enforcement officials are currently investigating what led to the shooting, reviewing evidence, and speaking with witnesses to identify those responsible for the violence. The shooting has raised concerns among residents and festival attendees as the Old West End Festival is traditionally a celebration of the neighborhood's history, culture, and community. Local leaders and authorities are urging anyone with information to come forward to assist with the ongoing investigation. As the investigation continues, police are working to determine the circumstances behind the shooting and whether any suspects remain at large. This incident serves as another reminder of the ongoing challenges communities face in addressing gun violence and ensuring public safety at large events. This has been Noah Norris for Jaguar News.
Oye, me acaban de robar mi cartera y mi teléfono. Dos mujeres, fueron dos mujeres.
Language set to Spanish. I was just robbed. They took my phone and they took my wallet.
Artificial intelligence is finding another interesting role in public safety. The Stockton Police Department is implementing a new AI-powered translation tool that will be built into their officers' body cameras.
How many were there? What were they wearing?
¿Cuánto sabía? ¿Qué llevaba puesto?
This technology can translate more than 50 languages in real time and would help officers communicate with members in the community when there are language barriers.
To bring something to our diverse community like this is a game changer. Having this allows us to get that critical information that can save lives. Our job is to find a way to mitigate situations to reach every community member. So it's a never-ending challenge for us that we will continue to onboard new technology or new resources that can help us do this. But this is a great step in the right direction.
Police officials say that this tool will be available to more than 300 of their sworn officers and will help speed up communication during emergencies and other situations where saving time is of the essence.
How we do business. The information is going to come out a lot quicker. The response is going to help get that information to the responding officers so they can respond promptly.
The department says that language barriers have historically shown patterns of slowed responses, especially when officers need important information and details but do not have immediate access to a translator. The police department believes that this technology will help officers better serve Stockton's diverse community while improving safety and response times, as well as connecting with the community. For Jaguar News, I'm John Pierre.
A new study has found a strong connection between heart attacks and an increased risk of cognitive decline. Researchers suggest that the effects of a heart attack may extend beyond the cardiovascular system, potentially impacting brain function, memory, and overall cognitive abilities in the years following recovery. Experts believe reduced blood flow, inflammation, and blood vessels after a heart attack may contribute to changes in brain health. These complications can affect the brain's ability to function properly and may increase the likelihood of memory loss, difficulty concentrating, and other forms of cognitive decline among survivors. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, taking medications as prescribed, and attending routine medical appointments can help lower cardiovascular risk and support both heart and brain health. The study highlights the close relationship between the heart and the brain, showing that protecting cardiovascular health may also play an important role in preserving cognitive function as people age. This has been Noah Norris for Jaguar News.
Earlier this month, President Trump had the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool drained and painted American flag blue to the price of $14 million. After the pool was refilled, blooms of algae began to surface and parts of the newly placed liner began to peel off. According to experts, the dark lining creates an atmosphere that allows algae to thrive because it absorbs more sunlight and raises the water temperature. Efforts have been made to treat the algae, including pouring hydrogen peroxide into the water. President Trump took to social media to claim that the issues with the reflecting pool are due to vandalism, without providing evidence. Trump stated that 6 people have been arrested for vandalism, with one man identified as David Hearn, a former Olympic canoe racer. Hearn said that he reached into the pool to touch a part of the liner that was peeling and let go after a part worker told him to. He was detained by National Guard troops and Park Police for 5 hours. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News.
Atlanta celebrated freedom, history, and community on Saturday as thousands gathered for the city's 14th annual Juneteenth parade. The annual event commemorates the end of slavery in the United States while honoring the resilience, achievements, and contributions of African Americans. People from across the region came together to celebrate one of the nation's newest federal holidays. The streets of downtown Atlanta were filled with music, colorful floats, marching bands, dance teams, and community organizations as the parade made its way through the city. Families lined the streets, cheering as participants celebrated Black culture, heritage, and freedom. Organizers say the parade continues to grow each year, serving as both a celebration and an opportunity to educate younger generations about the significance of Juneteenth. Organizers hope the annual tradition will continue to bring people together while honoring the history and lasting legacy of Juneteenth. This has been Noah Norris for Jaguar News. A small plane has crashed near Cleveland, resulting in multiple fatalities, according to authorities. Officials say the victims have been identified as investigators continue working to determine what caused the aircraft to go down. Emergency crews responded to the scene shortly after the plane crashed, where those on board were pronounced dead. Investigators from federal and local agencies are examining the wreckage, reviewing flight data, and interviewing witnesses as they try to determine what led to the accident. Officials say it is too early to confirm a cause, and the investigation is expected to take several weeks. Authorities say additional details will be released as they become available. In the meantime, investigators continue working through evidence from the crash site to understand what happened. This has been Noah Norris for Jaguar News.
Instagram is taking its content in new directions from beyond just the smartphone and onto the bigger screen. Meta, who owns the Instagram platform, has launched Instagram TV, a new feature that allows users to watch full horizontal videos directly on their TV screens. They want to introduce more various types of content, from longer-form videos, episodic storytelling, and live creator experiences in the future. This update expands with the launch of Instagram TV on Samsung televisions, where previously, the service was only available on Amazon Fire TV and Google TV devices. Meta states that we'll continue learning from our community and building new ways for people to connect around the content they love. For Jaguar News, I'm Jalen Pia. Google is introducing a new feature designed to help creators and companies stand out. This feature, called Search Profiles, which lets creators, publishers, and businesses a new way to promote their content and brand more efficiently through Google search. These users can customize their profiles with their own photos, biography, website links, social media accounts and platforms, and any other information. The implementation of this feature addresses concerns about Google's AI-generated summaries and how users are likely to just read them instead of clicking on direct sources or websites. Google says search profiles would help other users find accurate and up-to-date information about creators and their work across various platforms. This feature isn't just given out to everyone. To qualify, creators must have a sizable following on at least one major social media or video platform. For Jaguar News, I'm Jalen Pia.
On Wednesday, June 24th, two back-to-back 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes devastated Venezuela, causing immense damage and a large death toll. These were the largest recorded earthquakes in the country in more than a century. The state of La Guaira, the capital Caracas, and the surrounding areas are where some of the worst damage can be seen. There have been 609 aftershocks, including one that registered as a 4.6 magnitude that occurred during a crucial time for search and rescue. As of Monday, June 29th, there are still thousands missing as rescue efforts search the rubble for survivors. The government's estimated death toll is 1,719, with 5,034 people injured. Around 58,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed by the earthquakes, leaving 15,866 Venezuelans homeless. The United States-backed government is seen to be slow at aiding and recovery efforts, leading locals to help themselves and their communities. Aid has come from 24 other countries with 500 tons of supplies, 2,700 rescue personnel, and 86 teams with search dogs being some of the support received. While the 72-hour window for rescuing trapped victims passed over the weekend, search teams have not given up hope as rescues continue to be made. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News. On May 29th, 22-year-old Weston Higginbotham went missing in Kyoto, Japan while on a family vacation. Weston left his family to explore after having an argument with his mother, Nancy Higginbotham, and hours later his family used an app to track his location. His phone was turned off after they messaged to ask him where he was going. Weston was last seen on CCTV at 8 p.m. that night, walking on a path leading to hiking trails between the Kyoto and Shiga prefectures, which is mountainous and heavily forested. At 2 a.m., his family reported him missing to Kyoto authorities. The footage of his last sighting was not confirmed until June 2nd, and a storm pushed the search to the next day. After a 72-hour police search in the area, Weston was last spotted. The family launched their own search, with help from residents and a hired team on June 6th that focused on areas that the police did not search. Late that night, the family posted on Facebook that his body had been found by a volunteer in a mountainous area outside of Kyoto. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News.
Hollywood has been buzzing, and the entertainment industry is remembering two people who left a major mark on music. Legendary record producer Clive Davis has died at the age of 94, over a career that spanned more than 6 decades. Davis helped discover and develop some of the biggest artists in business, including Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, and Barry Manilow. He was also the founder of Arista Records and later J Records, making him one of the most influential executives in modern music. The music world is also mourning Grammy-nominated producer Tay Keith, who died at the age of 29. The Memphis native became one of hip-hop's most recognizable producers after creating hits including Drake's Non-Stop and Travis Scott's Sicko Mode. Artists across the industry are sharing tributes to his impact on modern rap music. In legal news, actor Shia LaBeouf has pleaded guilty in connection with a Mardi Gras incident that stemmed from a disturbance earlier this year. The plea resolves the criminal case without a trial. Pop star Sabrina Carpenter is asking a judge for a restraining order after an alleged stalker reportedly appeared multiple times outside of her Los Angeles home. Court documents say the man's repeated visits raised safety concerns for the singer and her security team. Prince fans will soon hear music that have never been released before. The Prince estate has announced a new collection of previously unheard records created between the late 1980s and the 2020s. The project will include dozens of tracks from the singer's famed vault, continuing the estate's efforts to share his extensive catalog with fans. Award-winning writer, producer, and actor Quinta Brunson is making a major career move after helping turn Abbott Elementary into one of television's most acclaimed comedies. Brunson has left Warner Bros. Television to sign a new multi-year overall deal with Disney's 20th Television, where she'll develop a new series while continuing her work on the big hit ABC show. Ariana Grande is criticizing the Trump administration after one of her songs was used in an ICE social media video promoting immigration enforcement. Grande said the use of her music was not authorized, joining a growing list of artists who have objected to their songs being used for political purposes without permission. Dua Lipa has given her fans a look at her private life by sharing photos from her intimate London wedding to actor Callum Turner. The images quickly drew millions of likes across social media. Charli XCX is hitting the road again. The star has announced a 12-date North American tour that will visit major cities across the US and Canada in support of her latest music. That's all for your Hollywood Buzz. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News.
New horror film Obsession hit theaters on May 15th. The film focuses on the character Baron, called Bear, who makes a devastating wish when he is desperate for his crush on friend Nikki to progress. The film is the kind of horror that chills you, with not only the scary imagery, but the dark themes it explores. With Bear's wish crossing boundaries and consent, it makes the audience think about the nice guy character and what that really means in real life. Obsession is a great film for discussions about these kind of relationships and for those who enjoy the kind of unsettling horror that you think about for days after you see the movie. The success of this film leads audiences to seek more projects from YouTubers turned filmmakers in hopes of receiving more creativity from YouTube to the big screen. This is Connie Du Bois with Jaguar News.
One of YouTube's biggest animated success stories is heading to movie theaters. The amazing digital circus The Last Act is making its theatrical debut, marking a major milestone for a series that began as an independent online production and quickly became a global phenomenon. Created by Australian animation studio Glitch Productions and creator Gooseworks, the show exploded in popularity after its 2023 pilot episode attracted hundreds of millions of views and a massive fan following across social media. The theatrical release combines the series' 8th episode with an all-new extended finale, giving fans an opportunity to see the story's conclusion on the big screen before its wider online release. What started as a web series funded outside of the traditional studio system has become one of the clearest examples of internet-born entertainment crossing into mainstream media. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News.